Good evening. Um, Excuse the bizarre headset. I don't like talking into it, but it works better than my webcam audio. Um, but, anyways, as we are approaching the end of 2022, which is kind of bizarre to think about, I've been asked for a while now, through friends and, sometimes people reach out to me as far as resources for Bible study or devotions or family worship. And even just, a few times recently in the past several weeks. So I thought, what a great time to share some of these thoughts as we approach a new year. So I don't claim to have, the best answers. I don't think anybody should um, outside the resource of Scripture itself. However, I found through the years, some of these are newer resources, some of these are older resources, but I found that through the years, these are resources that either I've returned to, or I should say, continue to return to, or now foresee as something that I will return to on an ongoing basis. Obviously, there's more, but the ones I'm going to share with you today are pretty much daily resources for me that I think would be valuable to anybody. If you're looking for something new or some additional, guidance or suggestions. So the first thing I want to say is prayer. I mean, if your endeavors are not prayerful, as sometimes even many of us rush into, myself included, into to study or reading without prayer, it is a futile effort of the flesh. So I will always remind anybody, including myself, to enter any of these endeavors prayerfully. And actually, on that note, is a resource. There are times when I struggle to even begin sometimes, with life being can be quite overwhelming. Um, and sometimes the words are difficult to find. And while certainly uh, the Spirit intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words, and makes petitions to, the Father perfectly on our behalf as Christians, it's still helpful to have some guidance. And I found that this particular book, many of you have probably heard it, The Valley of Vision. It is a collection of prayers from the Puritans. There are a couple other Puritan prayer books out there. My family actually uses another one, but this is the one that I use. I think it's great. It's put out by the Banner of Truth Trust. They recently came out with a bonded leather bound version of it. As you can see, it's pretty small, compact, great to carry anywhere, and the prayers in them are just 2 pages each, um, and I think they are a wealth and depth of God glorifying words spoken by our um, faithful Christian followers of years past that I think can really bring you into a heart of prayer. I found that sometimes, even just when I struggle, just to read through these, even just to start my prayer, has often been able to spur me into um, some wonderful conversations with the Lord, and putting my heart in a true posture of submission and prayer. So, Valley of Vision. Um, I don't often recommend devotionals. I'm just not a big devotional person. I have some, and I could list out a few others, offline if you want to reach out, that's fine. But there's one, and this has been around forever. Well, not forever, for a long time. Morning and Evening. It's a devotional written by Charles Spurgeon. The one that I use is an updated edition. I'm not normally a fan of updating, from the original language. Um, but I think they've done a faithful job to this, at least in my opinion. It makes it much more readable. And Spurgeon put together. I mean, and this isn't like, if you don't know, this isn't like a collection of his sermon notes somebody made devotionals out of. He actually penned a devotional for every morning and evening of the year. So it's a short, 1 page devotional each morning and evening for every day of the year, including February 29th. So solid, beautiful, thought provoking, sound. Definitely going to recommend it if you are looking for some type of devotional like that. Another resource, now, while this is online and free, at least free for now, I think, but it's called Table Talk. It's put on by Ligonier Ministries, or put out by Ligonier Ministries. And what I love about Table Talk is it's almost like an all-encompassing resource for you. I highly recommend. That's just my preference. The printed edition, because you can carry it with you. There's not You're not getting distracted with your phone or a device. But it every month has a theme, and there's articles, short articles, sound articles on that theme throughout the magazine. It also has for every day of the month. I wouldn't call it a devotional. They call it, I think, through the word, into the word, and it's a study. And like for example, this might be a little bit atypical, but for all of 2022, we've been walking through the book of Exodus. Sections of verses at a time, and studying them, expositing them a bit, and giving you some passages for further reading. So you have articles, you have great studies, and then in each one of those, month or day of the month sections, there's a little area for a Bible in a year. So if you're curious about just to have a Bible in a year plan, you can follow that one. Also, on our website, His Path Daily, we have created our own Bible reading plan. My daughter and I have used that several times now. We've tweaked it a little bit. We found it really works well for us. So check that out at hispathdaily.com if you want to see our perspective on that. But this resource has its own Bible reading plan in it. Again, and then it even has at the beginning of each week some memory verses to study. So if you just have this one resource, you're going to have great topical articles to dive deeper and understand deeper about your faith. You're going to have a daily study that's using God's own word, and some further passages for further study, memorization, Bible in a year. So it's a really great resource. So highly, highly recommended. Um, Study Bibles. Um, so I use two. I have used others, but I seem to come back to two study Bibles. Obviously, they all look different. I just grabbed this soft, you know, fake leather like bound one, but this is the ESV Study Bible. I would say if you had to pick one, or if I had to pick one, this is what I would go towards. It's got some fantastic commentary, great notes, it's beautifully laid out, a lot of color illustrations, and I know all that stuff isn't as important, and does have some additional, material in it as well. But for a single study Bible, if you're just wanting one, highly recommend. The other one that I use a lot is the Reformation Study Bible. This particular one I actually got in New King James just because I wanted a different translation, and I really like New King James. Um, I, you know, Again, great resources, great commentary. I it's a in my opinion, it's a little light on volume in some of it. I think the ESV, especially in the Old Testament, has a bit more notes. So that's one of the reasons. But this has a lot of great additional content, theological topics that go through various aspects of our faith. It goes through different historical confessions, so that's all in here too, and the catechisms. So it's a really great all-in-one resource too. So you're not going to go wrong with either one. But I think both of those are helpful. I use both of them. Um, Another one that I use, it's not a study Bible. Um, It's called the Evidence Bible. It's available, I think, in just King James or New King James. Um, this is a commentary Bible, essentially, by Ray Comfort. Ray Comfort is a um, wonderful evangelist. He has a heart for God and sharing the gospel. And it's kind of his collection of notes through the years. Um, and it's not just his notes, it's some quotes, Christians and non Christian quotes. It helps you understand other aspects of other religions and really gives you, it's really given me a, a burden for the lost. It's really given me that burden of sharing my faith and what that means. And what does it mean to love? And if I love, then what am I doing? So it's really opened my eyes up to that. So another great resource. Um, and oh yeah, family worship. It's like what else was it? Family worship Bible guide. Um, it is a great little small little blue book, and it actually has just a um, I don't know. There's four chapters on these two pages. Every chapter of the Bible has a handful of sentences, a little, I don't want to say summary. Sometimes it's a summary, but um, a lot of them have questions asking, thought-provoking questions. So it's really great for leading family worship. You read a chapter together. These have some great discussion points, but also even just in your own personal study, if you're looking to, pull something out of some of these chapters and you just want more, you know, um, perspectives or more thought-provoking ideas, this has been a great one too. So this really pulls out those resources. I think that was about it. Oh, there was one more, just an idea. Um, I'm going to be right back. You can hear me. I'm talking. It's actually just a book, um, and it's a book you probably have heard about. Um, it's called The Pilgrim's Progress. But I just recently got this. This was this? I think this was through Legionnaire as well, through their bookstore. I don't remember exactly. But anyways, I'll probably put a comment in the video of all these resources, anyways. Um, but it's just a really nice bound one. A lot of illustrations, fantastic story. I mean, I continue to reference, this throughout conversations even today, right? So I think it's just one of those timeless stories that I think would be really helpful. So not necessarily a Bible study resource, but if I had to give you one recommendation of just a great book to read, um, not that this was a great, I mean, I could talk forever on other books too, but I think that comes to about really what I wanted to share. So just a handful of resources, and outside of this, I mean, I pretty much use these resources, well, most daily, some as needed, right? I don't necessarily go to this daily, but I always have it on the shelf. It's always been a great resource as well too. So hope that's been helpful, especially if you're looking for something in the new year. So just wanted to share, and hope um, all of you are well in receiving this. The holidays can be a challenge. I know they are for me this year with the loss of my dad. But God is good, God is faithful, and I'm just remembering what Christmas is truly about. And it is what, with all these resources, what we need to remember what all these resources are truly about. If it just inflates our head, um, then that's failure. So I just hope that whatever you use, that your walk in 2023 will be more strengthened in the Lord, and you will draw closer to Him, and He will draw Himself closer to you. So take care. God bless, and maybe we'll talk soon.